Pedro from A&P-REACTS. I'm here today with Efthimis from Nightfall to talk about the upcoming new album, At Night We Pray, out March 5th on Season of Mist. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, Pedro, for the invitation. And also congratulations, guys, for the 60,000 subscribers. I wish you all the best. And I need to share with your audience my warm admiration, let's say, about the true reason why you set up this channel and you do all that. And it's, very sweet as a father that you do that to get closer to your son. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I think it's done what we had in mind to do. So me and him are a lot closer today than we were 3 years ago when this whole thing started. So I want to thank you for those nice words.
That's awesome. I wish my father was, so close to me.
Sometimes I think he thinks we're too close, or my wife thinks that we're too close, because sometimes it's hard for her to tell where the father-son ends and when we are just friends.
But both sides are okay, are perfect,
I agree with
you have the fathership and the friendship, so both are amazing. Amazing.
Before we get into the record, I have to ask you this about the title of the album. That was the first thing that I noticed. At Night We Pray. If you read it or if you listen to it, you may get a different idea. I love this duality that you guys created with the album title. That was the first thing that I fell in love with, even before I pressed play. I just love it. So creative.
Thank you very much.
When did you have the idea for this title?
Look, it's a play with words, let's say, because I consider depression as a very violent situation where, you feel inside you. And of course, you don't have somebody in front of you to blame for the situation. So you get lost in inner thoughts and sort of things that usually, we've been taught by religious preachers in our culture that you have to pray, to get away from this evil thing inside you. So I played with the words, and instead of pray with A, I put pray with E, which makes, the whole thing more aggressive. And it plays with the words like, how to say, like, I just wanted to show how much violent, the whole situation is. And that even if you sit down by yourself and try, things like concentrate, like trying, things, whatever things, spiritual things, in order to get relaxed and to get away from it, it's futile. There's no way to get away from it but certified medical assistance. This is the bottom line, and we have to be serious about it. There is a taboo about depression, that you can forget about it, you can go out and have a good time, you can talk to your friends or your girlfriend or blah, blah, blah. No. Everything counts. But at the end of the day, it's only, the certified medical help that's going to lead you out of the trouble. Maybe not entirely, but you're going to know how to cope with it in the long run. So by doing that, you feel relaxed. All this anger, all this pressure, all this wrath that builds up inside you because you feel like nobody understands what you're going through. It's gonna be, relieved. It's gonna go away. So the pray, the P-R-E-Y, it's usually what others recon to somebody who's suffering from depression and he's not getting, a serious aid to get away from it. So you see people that they're feeling angry. You see people that they are rude. You see people that they look, kind of scary to you. And society usually take a distance from these people. They call them names, like the new trend, especially from the States now, that it's talking about the toxic people. Oh, get away from toxic people. Throw toxic people out from your life. Yes, but you know, you're not born with toxicity. You know, you have to think about people that share the same place with you. We're all living in the same, let's say, society. So we have to make, you know, to reconsider our position in these very serious things, and start talking openly, discussing the problem, and get over the problem, you know, hand by hand. This is the sort of approach I'm trying to do through my own experience.
Is that the reason why there's an 8-year gap between the previous album and this album? A lot of that time period, is that a little bit driven due to your own depression and the issues that you've gone through?
I thought that it had nothing to do with me initially. I mean, if you see the story, the career of Nightfall, we've done 3 hiatuses so far, 3 pauses, and it's funny, but it all looks to me like a Netflix, you know, serial, you know, where we have 4 seasons, and accidentally these 4 seasons, you know, are divided into 4 different decades and 4 different labels. So you have the 90s with Holy Records, the 0s with Black Lotus, the 10s with Metal Blade, and now the 20s with Season of Mist. So I thought that, okay, it just happened. I know that we're not the kind of band that looks forward to succeed in a linear career, a commercial success career, but we're more or less like a cinematographer sort of thing, you know, when the same director is changing the cast each time in order, you know, to promote the concept of each movie. But after the revelation of last year, I started, you know, decoding previous things I did in my life. And one of the things that still carries some sort of mystery to me is exactly what you asked, Pedro. If my depression was behind these long blank spaces, you know, in the life of Nightfall, I'm still searching, you know, to find a secure answer on that. But it's a great possibility. It's a great possibility, because one of the things, you know, that the depression does to somebody's mind is, you know, to alter reality, to make you feel like somebody, you know, chasing you, like people don't understand you, like you want to stay alone, don't speak to anybody, and stuff like that. So I think the possibility is very big, you know, that that thing was behind all these stoppages.
At what point did you feel, this is kind of a two-pronged question, so I'm going to try to word it in the best way possible. So at what point did you feel like you had this album in you, and how difficult it was, or perhaps it made things easier, to work on a record while you're working on yourself? Because I feel like you did both.
Yeah, it's actually music has saved me a lot of times. It's my psychotherapy, and it has taught me a lot of things, because when I say music, I'm not only talking about, you know, the audio stuff. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about people like yourself as well, you know, people that I'm getting in touch with and talk about things that it would be impossible to talk with other people in my life. So this is creative, and it gives me the courage, you know, to go on. The thing is that the whole idea to start the 4th season of Nightfall came
I like this. I like the way you put it. I really like it.
Yeah.
The 4th season. Let's go with that.
Yeah, it came around 3 years ago. Back then, I had, you know, my other band, the Slayer King, where it's an unknown band, so has no deadlines to get after, so has no targets, has no promotional campaigns, you know, all this boring stuff. It's just music. So by that time, I was kind of relaxed. with it all. And I didn't consider, to do something with Nightfall again. But then I got a phone call from an old friend, Mike, the guitarist that we used to play together in season 1. And and he told me that, hey, Efthimis, let's do something with Nightfall again, blah, blah, stuff like that. And I told him, Mike, things have changed. I mean, the scene has not the romance that they used to have back in the days. Now things are more like they're following a more mainstream pattern. Everybody cares more about numbers, whether it is about income or likes or views, or it's numbers, that prevail here. And I wouldn't like, to get into that arena again, unless we have a great story, a special story to tell, And of course, I didn't have any clue that 2 years after that, I would find the story. Actually, the story would find me, and it was about the depression. So by the time, that thing revealed to me, and during a very difficult period of my life, I lost my mother after a long battle with diabetes, and then my father had and still has a very heavy, aggressive, I don't know how to call it, Parkinson. So from a son, I became a parent, but without, the beauty of the new life. So I became, I became the father of my parents, and it was very difficult and still is. So it was a time, it was a moment where I said that I can't do it no more. I'm done. And that was a time when, I asked for assistance, certified assistance, and everything, revealed to me. And it made me feel much, much better with myself, with everybody else. And it was a great, great, great opportunity to share this with the world through an album. And when I say with the world, I'm not talking about people like us. I mean, older people, we know more or less how to cope with this mental situation. Mainly, I'm talking about the younger generation, and mainly about millennials, that statistically, it is proved that is the less privileged generation of anyone out there. So there are people that still, they don't have a complete personality, but they have two worlds to place themselves into, the real world and the virtual world online. Mm-hmm. And there is too much bullying, there is too much stress. There are a lot of things that have to do with mental balance, so to speak. And thinking of previous generations, especially here in Greece, and how bad their reputation, not reputation, how difficult it was for them to understand what a mental issue is. Actually, they never tried to understand it. It was a very simple, thing for them. They said that you're either normal or you are abnormal, you are crazy.
You have a problem.
Yeah, as simple as that. And nobody wants to have a problem. And if you have a problem, nobody wants to learn that you have a problem, because you're going to have extra problems because of that. So it's an endless loop. And I've seen parents at my age that they were too much affected about this old sort of thinking. And they yell to the kids that if they're boys, that you're the best. You don't ever let anyone, to hit you. Hit first. Do that. Do the other things. Boys don't cry. Boys don't show mercy. Or if it is a girl, something closer to the stereotype of what a female nature shall be in this society. All these stereotypes. And I have to admit that it's my hobby, to try to smash stereotypes. So yes, I've seen this opportunity and I grabbed it, from the air, and here I am now, talking openly about it.
Yeah, which is great. And I think a lot of this, even if people are listening to the album and they don't know about it, I think it's pretty obvious throughout the record what the record is about. Not just from a lyrical perspective, but even from a musical perspective. And that's one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I felt that the album is very diverse as far as the soundscape is concerned. It's not like you have a bunch of songs that all sound the same. No, every song has a very different path, if you will. Is that difference in sound from track to track a little bit of your state of mind in terms of what the message is within that song, or is also a little bit driven by your taste in music and how you wanted the songs to have a little bit of their own personality, if you will?
It's both, actually, because we've never been into the monotonous style as artists. I know that if I ask a marketing guru, he would say that the best thing a band or an artist has to do is to use a repetition, to achieve a pattern, and then, try to repeat it in order, to establish the brand and expand the clientele, so to speak. But here in the southern of Europe, the approach to music and to art, especially in sub-genre like it is metal, it's totally different than what Anglo-Saxons mainly, are doing. They are usually look at the underground as the first step before you become, more popular and make a living out of it. And they sort of they see it as a sort of business. But we grew up with this kind of music as our alternative, as our virtual world, that will allow us to escape the bitter reality. So we've never wanted, to be monotonous. We wanted, our music to follow this mood swing, so to speak, of how you feel, how we feel. I mean, I don't want, to listen to the same track in different forms, in different, let's say, speeds. I totally appreciate that. And if you do that, it's okay with me. But I wouldn't do that with my staff, with my band. So it's something typical for us. But for At Night We Pray, we also try to secure that it's gonna turn out that way with the other guys as well, because we wanted, to reflect every sort, of side of a depressed person. You have your high times, you have your low times, you have the times when you are lost inside a lot of overthinking. You have your aggressive times, you have everything. This is with you. It has to do with the human psyche. It's not, one track, sort of thing. It's multi-layered, and it has a depth. And talking of that, I'm taking, also the opportunity to say that there is a misconception in society about depression. Many think that a depressed guy is someone, who is dim, looks down, looks really tired, or maybe there is some aggression in his face and stuff like that. But this is not true. You're kind of normal. You have fun. You have your friends. You go out. You laugh. Signs of depression are not always apparent. And this is, the most difficult part of this mental disease, is that it strikes you when you are alone. It strikes you when you wanna rest in peace and relax, get energy for the next day or for the next project. And this is when, demons appear in your mind, dancing, throw flames, fires, and generate any sort of negative thinking your mind can generate. It's crazy. This is when you are driven crazy, actually. So
at night they pray.
At night, exactly. Now the loop ends.
It loops all the way back. How do you look at your vocals on this album? How do you define your vocal approach on this record? I really enjoyed your vocals, but I want to hear from you in terms of Did you have an idea of how you wanted to sound on the album? Like, how did you approach it?
It was go inside in the recording booth with the lyrics in my hands, and I just closed my eyes, played the music, and started, scream my lungs out. So it was like it's more like sort of feast, to me. Frankly speaking, more or less, I know how my voice, sounds. So it wasn't surprising to me. I didn't expect to hear something different. The challenge and the good thing with this album is that we worked a lot to have for the voice to have a clear tone, and also not to consume the words. I try to come up with the right word in each sentence, in each song, to be, understood, to be noticed, well noticed, by the listener. No, while in the previous albums, I didn't pay that much attention to that. I screamed what I have to scream. I felt like a beast, that tried to escape from somewhere that I felt really oppressed, and that was it. But now the message was very serious.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I felt like there was a deeper connection on this record with the lyrical content. So I didn't feel like you changed your approach from song to song, but there was a little bit of a different emotional drive or push that was slightly different from track to track, depending on what the lyrics were. So you brought the lyrics to life ever so slightly without changing too much.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. As I said, this time the message is bigger to our own existence. It's bigger to the bands or to this album. It's something that it's a cry out, for help to everybody. It's a problem that our societies and we ourselves need to address drastically right now. So I felt like being part of all this thing, of all this process. I wasn't there, as a singer of Nightfall. I was there as Efthimis suffering from this thing. So I had the opportunity to speak openly about it, first lyrically, and now through personal, discussions and chats with everybody who's asking me about this album. So it's like a double opportunity for me to talk about it, and I'm getting, I'm taking, to the edges. I'm not gonna miss, this opportunity. So yes, you're right. You're right about the voice.
Do you feel like musicians, and considering the days that we live in with the pandemic, you can't play live shows, you can't perform, all of these things. Do you feel like depression is perhaps a plague of it's a different kind of plague, but it's a plague nevertheless, and it perhaps plagues those that are the most creative? Like, the more creative you are, the more you're easy to fall prey. We're going again back in circles with the prey, but you fall more easy, you become an easier prey to depression, because people who are very creative or have their mind works at a different speed. Let's put it that way. So in a time like this, where we have all of these constraints, all of these restraints in the world, perhaps things that were not as visible to people become more visible now, and you become an easier prey. Do you feel that way about musicians and metal musicians in general?
Totally. But on the other hand, music and arts, is our fuel. So I feel like a little bit more privileged to somebody who's not into arts, and he or she cannot grab a guitar and play or sing or play with other guys, in the studio. Musicians, we can do that. So I think the only depressed thing is that we cannot do that in front of other people or with other people, because the truth is that metal is about coming together, It's interesting if you see that metal as a genre has the least solo projects or solo artists compared to any other genre out there. It's because we've learned that together, united, we can do things. So now we're not united, but we try to keep up, with Skype right now, or with listening to same music and the same stuff. But we're not close enough, to feel the energy, and that's a bad thing for us. However, I totally agree with you. I mean, bad in quotations or out of quotations, in brackets or off brackets, bad experiences are always, a driving force. It's like the turbo, in machines, when, the emissions get in again, and it adds more torque, and it gives you more power. So it goes like that. It goes like that until you reach the end. So yes, I think that currently lockdown situation is very dramatic. Let alone there are people who have totally, wasted or lost their income, and they cannot make a living. This is yet another problem. But at least we have the music. It's a very big thing. We have the music. I think that the biggest problem is with people that work, with their bare hands, like drivers, factory workers. These sort of people have a very, very, very difficult time. We artists have a difficult time, but we have art to accompany the difficulty, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm trying, I'm trying to put it, mildly, because somebody may say that, hey, it's not like that. I feel like I'm in jail. I feel like I'm, isolated, and this is, a very big problem for me. It is for you, my friends, but since we're living in a society, we have to see, to compare our problem to the others' problems and set a priority. So musicians shall keep on playing music even under these difficult circumstances. People want to listen to music.
I think it helps all of us. I'll tell you personally, I think if it wasn't for music, if it wasn't for the channel that I have with my son, as you know, I would be going through depression myself, because it's hard for you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But music and my own personal relationships and our opportunity that we have here to talk, all of these things give you a little bit more of a sense of hope, and it connects you with people that are not necessarily there with you physically, but they're with you spiritually. So I think that's a huge important factor, at least for me personally, to make it through these tough times. I don't think I've listened to as much music as I am listening to right now,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. I agree with you. It sort of reminds me the days of the underground back in the 90s, where we didn't see each other. Yeah, but we exchanged tapes, and we exchanged our fears, our dreams, our targets, and the difficulties local societies, created to us and stuff like that. It's kind of the same. I hope that it will soon end. I hope it will soon end, and people will get out of it thirsty to do things. We'll have the capacity, physical and mental capacity, to do good things.
I hope that we come out of this thinking that let's not take things for granted. Do you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
Let's enjoy every day to the fullest. Let's enjoy each other's companies. Let's enjoy what we have to give to each other. I hope if there's one lesson to be learned, I hope that's it, that we become better people towards each other.
Totally. We used our civilization used to run in so frenzy speeds and paces that we got lost the touch with simple things, simple life. It's like, and now what happens right now is like that sort of car that was driving, and trying, to meet deadlines and big projects and a hell of things. just, had, its windscreen smashed by a big stone. So we have to drive, to pull aside and wait for the assistance to come, the road assistance to come. And as long as we wait, we sit idle and we just watch, the nature. We watch, scenes that we knew that they're there, but we haven't noticed for so many years, because everybody was after a big project. Everybody was after a big project, and we have to run like hell, to meet the deadlines. So now it's back to the basics. Now it's everybody with his or her own self. So you cannot hide. You cannot hide. You have to see
there's no place to hide anymore.
Exactly. So now you have to befriend your demons and to accept the brutal truth that you are not a god, if there is one, or you're not a Superman or Superwoman. You are just, yet another broken soul that trying with others for the best possible, living. And that's it. And that's it.
Well, Efthimis, I want to really thank you for taking the time today to chat with me about the record, chat with me about the personal struggles that you've gone through. This has been an incredible chat. So thank you very much for taking the time. I just want to remind everybody, At Night We Pray, out March 5th. It's 5 days before my birthday. March 5th.
Oh, really?
Season of Mist. Yeah, you almost picked my birthday. Just 5 more days would have been my birthday. But it's a good early birthday gift. I highly recommend everybody checking out this record. I had such a fun time listening to this album. This is such a great record. So I want to say congratulations on the record and thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you very much, Pedro. All the best, and my warm greetings to your son, mate.
I'll let him know you said hi.
Perfect. All the
Take
best.
care, my friend.
Bye.